Hello everybody, I'm Gabriel Barre from RT, the French transmission system operator. Those are the reason why I pushed RT to join LF Energy. Those are my kids and I want them to have a future. We have a global climate change problem and we need a global energy transition. Nor France, nor Europe, nor the US, nor China can do it alone. We need a global community to have a global answer. That's why I'm so delighted that you decided to join LF Energy. You are the pioneers of this new journey to 2050. Thank you.
I'm Laurent Schmidt, the General Secretary of ENTSO-E, the Association of Transmission Grid Operators in Europe. We are largely implied into the transformation required to the pan-European energy system to decarbonize the system and meet the net zero carbon objectives of the European Commission. This will require to significantly change the way the power system is organized, orchestrated and managed, and with the rapid introduction of new digital technology. And we are very engaged in facilitating the development of platform for transmission grid operators. And we have recently looked more in detail to the opportunity offered by the open source technology to further accelerate our developments, avoid to reinvent the wheel, take the best lessons and ideas from the open source community, and as a consequence, we very much welcome the initiative taken by the Linux Foundation to build up and grow the critical size of developers being implied into the digital developments for the energy sectors. We are very happy to be able to contribute to the LF Energy, and we hope that will foster some of our deployment heading towards more harmonized and unified architectures, use of more standardized API and interface, and reuse of open source software libraries wherever to accelerate this transition. So we look forward to this next development between now and 2050. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ken Delaney, and I'm the Director of Industry and Innovation at the Freedom Systems Center at NC State University in Raleigh, North Carolina. We are a smart grid research center with a dozen academic faculty, 100 graduate students, and 20,000 square feet of research space. We focus on applications of wide bandgap semiconductors to make more efficient solar inverters, electric vehicle chargers, and motor drives. We also research new grid management methods, optimization algorithms, and help our utility partners solve problems on their distribution grids. NC State and Vanderbilt University work together on an open source platform for decentralized real-time control at the grid edge. It's called the Resilient Information Architecture Platform for Smart Grids, or REOPS. And REOPS is one of the open source platforms in the LF Energy portfolio. And here is what inspires me to contribute my time and resources to LF Energy. Decarbonizing the world's energy systems is a massive, complex problem that will not be solved by one university research project or even several. It will be solved when we all work together collaboratively to address common issues and develop shared solutions. Open source software is a way to leverage the brain power of thousands and bring value to millions. Join LF Energy to become a part of the solution and bring value to your organization as we change the world together.
Well, as a scientist working in a university, our goal is to make work that other people will use. And I strongly believe that joining an open source community is the best way to make our work available so that we can cooperate and develop further the research we have been doing. And that means making our results for the other people available, but also creating networking with other people who have the same passion. Why open source? Well, most of the work we do is publicly funded. So in my view, open source, first of all, is a way to give back to the community that is supporting the research we are doing. And second reason is to create opportunity of cooperation. Again, as an academics, for us, networking is everything. And reaching the largest possible community is obviously the most important element for our work. Why LF Energy? To my knowledge, they are the first and the only one that have developed a foundation which specifically focus on energy topics. There are many other open source activities, that's for sure, but because my research on software and software for automation in particular is strictly focusing on energy, it allows us to have a community that understands the type of problems we are trying to solve. So is the community with which normally also we work in the project. So it's the right place. If I had pivotal moments, I think all in all, as many things went on a personal relation type of story. And I still remember the first time I met Shuli in Paris, and we had a discussion, and she explained the goals and aims of the Linux Foundation Energy, and that was extremely convincing. My favorite thing in the foundation, what I really like is that there's a very open environment where you can talk, discuss, and exchange ideas, and there is no constraints or limitation or anything. It's really, as academic, we like freedom of research, and I perceive the same freedom when I'm involved in activities with LF Energy.
The energy industry has embarked on the transition from using fossil fuels for transportation to using electricity to power our trucks, our buses, our passenger cars, and everything else that gets us from A to B. At ELAT, we explore what this means for our electricity grids and how we as utilities can play our important part in this transition to a cleaner planet. Open source enables us to go faster and do better. 100 years ago, the energy industry were pioneers, working on the electrification of society and on moving from horse-drawn carriages to gasoline-fueled cars. Let's be pioneers again. Let's work together on the electrification of transportation. Join us, join the Linux Foundation Energy, and let's make this happen.
At RTE, we realize that open source collaborations are essential in order to complete our software roadmap. We strongly believe that no single power grid company can find enough time, enough resources, enough skills to build the software it will need tomorrow. So then, when we discovered how other industries are leveraging open source collaborations, it became obvious to us that LF Energy was the right way forward. Open source brings several benefits. First of all, when several companies have the same need with open source, they can share the efforts, they can share the development costs to fulfill their needs. Secondly, by sharing the efforts, we can also divide the work and go faster. Then, through a collaborative process, open source also improves the quality of what we are doing. There are several eyes looking at the same problem. We can combine different skills. We can combine different skills. We can mix expertise, mix problems, etc. So when we consider moving towards an open source strategy, one of the key questions was the proper governance framework. And we discovered that the Linux Foundation had several initiatives that were performing very well in other sectors, such as the telecommunication industry, the automotive industry, the internet industry. So we got in contact with them and with Sri Guzman, and we also discovered that on their side, they were willing to set up an ambitious open source foundation dedicated to the energy sector, looking at the stakes and the transformation that our sector would have to accomplish. So then our interests matched, and we decided to join LF Energy. Two years ago, the Linux Foundation organized a study tour when several people from RT had the great opportunity to meet other open source initiatives from other sectors. And then we had the chance to discover how LF networking was performing, automotive grade business was performing, Hyperledger, etc. All those big initiatives. And this was really convincing. It confirmed our intuition that open source could be a powerful tool to be leveraged to organize cross-industry collaborations. Well, I'm very pleased because today LF Energy has become a vibrant community involving utilities, technology vendors, software companies, research institutions who are joining their forces around shared goals. And I'm really enthusiastic about this dynamics that is the key for our success.
Hello, I'm Richard Beeson, CTO of OSI Soft. I'm going to answer the question, if you were in the year 2050 sending a postcard back to the year 2020, what would you say about the energy transition and the role of LF Energy? Here is my postcard. In 2050, we get all our energy primarily from local sources, from our homes and our neighborhoods, built on clean and renewable resources. The environmental impact of our energy-hungry lives has long tipped toward environmentally clean and socially beneficial solutions. And more, this transition drove positive economic growth globally, creating new jobs and opportunities, democratizing energy, and creating a new community fabric. LF Energy's leading role was instrumental in bringing together the spirit and energy of those committed to the digital transformation needed to accelerate this transition. As the central nervous system underlying the stream of innovative physical energy components and systems, LF Energy's member projects provided the necessary building blocks that accelerated the creation of this new digital infrastructure. Please tell your friends and anyone who will listen, if you believe in this future, it can only happen if you all join together to create it. LF Energy is one community that succeeded.
Transparency has always been core to our business model, and open source is one of the key ways that we can build trust in the energy industry. And LF Energy has really provided a home for our foundational software projects to enable us to build that trust. It's really a place where we can collaborate and grow and accelerate building the distributed but connected clean energy future that we believe in. I think the passion and aspiration behind joining LF Energy was really that it provided a place where we could put these publicly developed projects that we had been working on and connect them with a broader community of companies and individuals that were interested in contributing and moving the ball forward. I think it's really a way that we can identify opportunities to connect in an otherwise really fragmented industry with lots of different solutions, but they don't necessarily come back together in a way that makes a lot of sense sometimes. Our platform is designed to enable markets, and open source is a really important way to lend transparency to calculations that you're doing. So we calculate changes in energy consumption for the purpose of market transactions between customers, between aggregators, and between aggregators and utilities, and also utilities and regulators. So in order to really enhance that transparency, open source gives a really, it's a core component for enabling transparency, because everyone can see the calculations that you're doing. You can see how they are being executed and have confidence that you're getting what you thought you were getting and essentially getting what you paid for in terms of energy reductions or energy consumption changes, which is how we're trying to enable distributed energy markets. Why LF Energy? It's because it's the nexus between the Linux Foundation, which is world-renowned for fostering strong open source projects, and a dedicated focus to the energy industry, which is in dire need of support and help on the open source front to enable a distributed energy future that is core to how our company operates and what our mission is for enabling this clean energy future, which is to enable markets, to enable transactions, and do that with consistent, transparent calculations of changes in energy consumption. The pivotal moments that influenced our decision to join was having a product that was ready to be open source. The Open EE Meter is a project that we'd been working on for about 2 to 3 years in a public space and building collaborations around it. But it was really at the point where we needed to move it to a more open source governance structure so we could take it to the next level for adoption in the market and getting more people to contribute to the code, more people to contribute to bug fixes, to enabling its growth and development in the industry. My favorite thing about the Linux Foundation is that it is a space where we can have a home for our projects, and it really creates a neutral space to be able to collaborate with lots of different industry actors. It allows us to grow as a company by learning and tapping into the resources of a lot of different industry experts and companies that are aligned with our objectives. And it really is a space where we can accelerate the connections that need to be made to enable this future for energy that we believe in.